Hey everyone, welcome to Kickin' with Kipes. I'm Kipes, and today is December the 29th, 2024. We are only a couple days away from the new year, and this is our last recap video of the year because tomorrow is Mix It Up Monday, and then I'm not doing anything New Year's Eve because I'm out doing things with friends, but we will be covering today's games. Let's waste no time and let's get right into it. Our day starts off in St. Louis, where the St. Louis Blues are facing off against the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres, they win 3 games in a row, winning 4-2 in this game. I don't remember the last time they won 3 games in a row because before this, they had lost 13 games in a row. I'm not putting any stock into this winning streak except for the fact that, ooh, you're a hockey team that can win 3 games in a row. Congratulations, I guess. But you are still a hot, steamy pile of garbage team, and I do not respect you guys whatsoever. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, he was in the net for the Buffalo Sabres. He had a very good game. He made 35 saves in the winning effort today. Standout players for the Buffalo Sabres, Tage Thompson and Jason Zucker, they each had a goal and an assist. Jack Quinn, he had 2 assists in this game as well. The Buffalo Sabres, they improved to 14, 19, and 4. That is still an absolutely abysmal record for this Buffalo Sabres team. I still think something's got to change management-wise, and you can't fire the head coach because he just got there for the second time behind the bench for the Sabres. The 2 goal scorers for the St. Louis Blues was Nathan Walker and Braden Shen. The St. Louis Blues, they dropped to 17, 17, and 4. A very disappointing season for Jim Montgomery's team. I know he just got there a month or so ago, but he has to get this ship steered very quickly because it could get very ugly for the St. Louis Blues. They made an acquisition to get better this season already, and it's just not going their way so far. This was the 6th time this season that St. Louis could have won 3 games in a row. They were on a 2-game winning streak, but they just could not do it again. The 6th time this season that they cannot win 3 games in a row. That's a very bad look on your NHL hockey team. The goal scorers for the Buffalo Sabres, I already mentioned that one was Tage Thompson, the other was Jason Zucker. Kulik and Peyton Krebs were the other 2 goal scorers. The next game for the St. Louis Blues is at the Winter Classic outside at Wrigley Field in Chicago against the Blackhawks. And to be honest, I cannot think of 2 more blah teams to be outside at this big event for the NHL. I can't think for the game of hockey. These are the 2 teams that you're going to be putting on the ice and representing your sport. It's very mediocre this year for the Winter Classic. Jordan Binnington was in net for the St. Louis Blues. Very mediocre performance from him again. He let 4 goals in 16 shots. Very bad performance from him. On that note, the St. Louis Blues, they lose to the disappointing Buffalo Sabres 4-2 at home Sunday afternoon. We head on over to Anaheim, where the Ducks are playing the Oilers Sunday afternoon, where the Ducks, they beat the Oilers 5-3. Ryan Strome, he got the game-winning goal with about 2.5 minutes left in the game, bouncing it off the pad of Calvin Pickard. It had to get reviewed, but it was a very obvious, very clear that the puck did cross the line. Boom, Anaheim, they get the go-ahead goal, and then they get the empty net goal. Game over for the Anaheim Ducks. These are 2 very disappointing losses for the Edmonton Oilers back-to-back. They lost against the Kings last night. They lose against the crappy Ducks tonight, and it just makes me happy as a Flames fan living in Calgary. But at the same time, the Oilers have to get that figured out because that you cannot have. You lost to the Kings last night, but you lose to the Ducks tonight, and that's just absolutely embarrassing because they scored so many goals just to get back into this game. Like I just mentioned, the Anaheim Ducks did score a couple goals to get the win in this game. They scored the last 4 goals in this game. The Oilers, they just could not stop the dam as it started to leak. Mason McTavish, Cutter Gauthier, and Robbie Fabry all had a goal and an assist in this game. Lucas Dostal, he played both games in this back-to-back for the Ducks today. He made 20 saves in the win. Very impressive effort from him tonight. The Ducks, they improved to 14, 17, and 4. Still a very underwhelming season for them. It is a good bounce back game for the Ducks, though, because they did lose to Philadelphia last night 3-1. So you take the good with the bad. You move on, and hopefully the Ducks, I think if I were the Ducks, I would want to kind of stay near the bottom of the league and wish for a lottery draft pick. Leon Draisaitl, he continues to be an absolute mutant. He scores twice. Evan Bouchard, he had a goal and an assist. Connor McDavid, he continues to be a mutant as well. He had 2 assists in this game. Both McDavid and Draisaitl continuing their point streaks. The Oilers, they dropped to 21, 12, and 3. They've now lost 2 in a row for the first time since the middle of November. So yeah, they've had a very good run of games, and this is the first slip up in a long time. But Hopefully it's not a sign of things to come and they can get that ship right back on track. Calvin Pickard between the pipes for the Oilers. He made 27 saves in the losing effort. Draisaitl and McDavid, they both extended their point streaks like I mentioned just before, and their point streaks are at 11 games now. They are destroying this league single-handedly, the two of them, and if it wasn't for those two players, I genuinely wonder where the Oilers would be. And I know it's hard to say, yeah, without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they'd be in trouble, which is extremely obvious. But even if they had lesser players, I think they wouldn't be a playoff team because they are so weak everywhere else. So the Oilers lose in a disappointing fashion, letting the Anaheim Ducks score the last 4 goals of the game, losing 5-3 against the Ducks in Anaheim. We go to Tampa Bay, where the Montreal Canadiens are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Montreal Canadiens win 5-2 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Jake Evans, he's having a very good run of games. He scores in his 5th straight game. Joel Armia, he had a goal and an assist. And Alexander Carrier, recently acquired Alexander Carrier, had 2 assists in the winning effort tonight. The Canadiens, they sweep the state of Florida after beating the Florida Panthers 4-0 yesterday. They beat Tampa Bay 5-2 today with a total of 9-2. Who would have thought that the Habitants would come in and do this to the 2 Florida teams, the 2 very good Florida teams? The Canadiens, they improved to 16, 17, and 3, and I have a couple cousins who are unfortunately Montreal Canadiens fans, and one of them DM'd me today saying I got it wrong, saying that the Canadiens won't make the playoffs. I'm sorry, you are less than a 500 team still at this late in the season. Yes, you can make that comeback and make the playoffs. The St. Louis Blues did it a couple years ago in 2019 and won the cup, but this Montreal Canadiens team is not that St. Louis Blues team. I do not think the Montreal Canadiens will make the playoffs. I think they are a lottery team. Yet right now, they're screwing their chances of becoming a lottery team, but they are by no means a playoff team. If they ever had a chance of making the playoffs, they would get swept immediately. No questions asked. The other team would hardly break a sweat. To counteract the point I just made against myself, they have won 5 of 6 games, so they are on a very good run of games, but I still don't see it happening. But I could be proven wrong, and I'd be willing to be proven wrong. I do love it when Canadian teams make the playoffs. I hate the Habs as a Maple Leafs fan as well, but at the same time, I love it when Canadian teams can make a splash in the playoffs. So I'd be down for it, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen. Sam Montembeault, he made 21 saves in the winning effort tonight. Brandon Hagel and Nikita Kucherov were the 2 goal scorers for the Tampa Bay Lightning today. They dropped to 20, 12, and 2. They're still having a very good season. And that is just why I think it's so impressive that the Canadiens did this sweep of Florida in back-to-back as well. Just to add to the impressiveness of this for the Canadiens, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they had won their past 2 games by a combined score of 10-2. So they had hardly let teams score against them, and they had scored a crap ton of goals leading into this game, and the Canadiens just shut them down and smothered them all game long. Yes, they didn't have their all-star goalie, Andrei Vasilevsky, but you would expect Jonas Johansson to have a decent game against a team like Montreal, but he did make 31 saves. He was a busy boy tonight, and it just wasn't good enough as he got the loss in this game. Tampa Bay Lightning star forward Jake Gensel, he was a very late scratch in this game, and they are considering him day-to-day with an upper body injury. As a Atlantic Division rival, I hope he's out for a bit, but as a human being, I hope he's okay, and I hope he comes back for this team because they could really use him. The Montreal Canadiens, they continue to be very good in the past 6 games. They win 5-2 in Tampa Bay against the Lightning today. As we move on, we got the Washington Capitals in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena, where Alexander Ovechkin scores a goal, his 870th goal of his career. Holy crap, that is a lot of goals to put in the back of the net. He moves to 25 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. Do you think he will do that? I have my doubts that he'll do it this season. He's got 46 games left, so he has to do it pretty quickly, but at the same time, he is Alexander Ovechkin, and I have no doubt that he can do it, but he needs to stay healthy for the rest of the season because he's coming off that broken leg. Yeah, he has 2 goals in the 2 games that he's been back, so he's obviously not showing any signs that it's affecting him, but I really, really hope that he does it this season. I told myself way back like 3 or 4 years ago that I would get an Alexander Ovechkin jersey the day that he broke that record, And I do have an Alexander Ovechkin jersey upstairs, but it would look like spandex on me right now, so I'm not going to put that on for a video. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think that Alexander Ovechkin will beat his Wayne Gretzky's record this season, or will it trickle into next season where he'll do it easily? Hard right turn from talking about Alexander Ovechkin. They unfortunately lost in this game 4-2 at the hands of the Detroit Red Wings. The Capitals were on the back of a back-to-back after beating the Leafs 5-2 last night, so it's expected that they would be a little bit tired today, but it's the Wings. You would expect that they could win that game too, but they're still an amazing team this season. Charlie Lindgren, he was in net for the Washington Capitals. He made 23 saves in this game. Nick Dowd, he also scored on top of Ovechkin's goal, as we just covered. The Capitals, they dropped to 24-10-2, finally getting that double-digit loss. It took them forever to get that. It's very impressive what they're doing this season. Alex DeBrincat, he scored twice in this game. Patrick Kane, he also scored. We'll get to him very shortly. Todd McLellan, it was his first win behind the bench as the Detroit Red Wings head coach after replacing Derek Lalonde on Boxing Day. It was only his second game that it took to get that first win, but it came at the hands of the Toronto Maple Leafs on Friday night when they got absolutely spanked. And then videos were starting to trickle out of Detroit Red Wings practice the day after that, where they got bag skated. It was a brutal. You could hear McLellan just ripping the Red Wings players a new one. And you could hear him saying some very mean things to these players. This was apparently the first practice all year for the Detroit Red Wings that was over an hour long, which makes no sense to me, because if your team is doing as bad as the Detroit Red Wings, I don't understand how you're not bag skating this team. I think that just shows that Derek Lalonde needed to change, and someone new had to come in, a new voice had to come in, because no practice is over an hour long when your team is struggling as bad as the Wings were is not good, in my opinion, at all. I just mentioned that Patrick Kane was another goal scorer in this game. He got a goal and an assist in this game to reach 1,300 career points. That's a huge, huge, huge milestone for a player in his career. Congratulations to Kaner. Amazing accomplishment. Alex Lyon, he was in the net for the Red Wings. He made 26 saves. The Wings had lost 4 in a row leading up to this game, so it was a very much needed win for McLellan and this Red Wings group. So the Detroit Red Wings, they win 4-2 at home over the Washington Capitals. Just like last night, the New York Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're facing off again tonight. But this time it was in Pittsburgh, where the Penguins recover from the bad loss last night and they win 3-2 over the Islanders. The main point from this game is Sidney Crosby. He has now played 1,310 games in the NHL, an absolute journeyman of this league, the 37-year-old former first overall draft pick. If you know hockey, or if you've even heard of hockey, you know who Sidney Crosby is. In this game tonight, Sidney Crosby, he reached 1,034 NHL assists, which is an absolutely bonkers stat. He has 1,034 assists in 1,310 games. That is stupid crazy and stupid good, especially because of how many games he missed at the beginning of his career due to all those concussions and head, neck, and upper body problems that he had. This record for Sidney Crosby passes Mary Lemieux for all time in the history of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just an absolutely amazing record that Sidney Crosby has surpassed today. Back to the game though, Michael Bunting and Philip Tomasino, they each had a goal and an assist in this game. Alex Nedeljkovic, he made 29 saves for the win between the pipes for the Penguins today. They improved to 17, 16, and 5. Finally getting over that 500 mark of the season. They're still having a very disappointing season. The Penguins, they have won 4 of 6 games though. I think this is kind of like the Montreal Canadiens. They're looking okay right now, but in the long run, they're just not going to make the playoffs. Marcus Hogberg was in net for the New York Islanders today. It was his first NHL start since April 28th, 2021. Several years since he started in an NHL game, so good to have him back. I'm sure it felt absolutely amazing for him to be on NHL ice again. He was very busy in this game. He made 39 saves in the losing effort tonight. I haven't seen the highlights to see if it was Hogberg's fault for any of the goals, but at the same time, that is a lot of saves to make, and the Islanders defense should have done a lot better. Anders Lee for the New York Islanders, he scored twice in this game. He also scored twice in last night's game as well. So 2 consecutive games in 2 nights, scoring 2 goals. Very good run of games for Anders Lee. The Islanders, they dropped to 14, 16, and 7. So obviously that open practice that the Islanders had a couple days ago where Patrick Waugh addressed the crowd saying, we know it's not good enough. Obviously, they still don't because they still suck. Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman Chris Letang did not play. He played last night, but apparently he had a lower body injury that was nagging him, keeping him out of the game today. The Penguins and Sidney Crosby reaching that huge milestone. They win 3-2 against the New York Islanders today. We move to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Wild are facing off against the Ottawa Senators. The Senators, they win 3-1. Josh Norris, Ridley Grigg, and Claude Giroux were the 3 goal scorers for the Ottawa Senators. They improved to 19, 15, and 2. They had lost 2 in a row after they were on a very good winning streak. This is a very good win for the Ottawa Senators against a very good, or used to be very good, Minnesota Wild team, as Levi Merilainen. He got his first win earlier, or a week ago or so. He got his first career win. He made 30 saves in this game. Josh Norris, he got the go-ahead goal in the third period, but Claude Giroux, he got the empty net goal, intercepting a Matt Boley pass and firing it into the empty net for that win for the Ottawa Senators. The Minnesota Wild, or like I just said, the used to be good Minnesota Wild, they have lost 5 of their last 7 games. I think they were without Kirill Kaprizov in this game again tonight, but that does hinder them in up front to get goals. But with the amount of manpower that they have up front, they should be able to beat Ottawa, but they didn't. So you have to figure out a way to get goals without your star forward. Gustafsson, he was in net making 33 saves. He was very busy. The Wild, they dropped to 22, 11, and 1. So still a very good and very respectable record in this season, but they better get their winning back in order. The Ottawa Senators, they are in the second wild card spot right now. They are 1 point ahead of the Penguins with 2 games in hand. I think it would be a lot of fun to see the Ottawa Senators make the playoffs, especially if the Toronto Maple Leafs get that first spot in the Atlantic Division. So if the Leafs are first in the Atlantic and the Senators stay in that second wild card position, that means it would be Toronto against Ottawa, the Battle of Ontario, first round of the playoffs. How much fun would that be? Yeah, the Ottawa Senators always come out and give the Leafs a hard time, so that would scare the living crap out of me. But at the same time, it would be extremely entertaining and a lot different than what the Leafs have been used to in playoffs as of late. The Ottawa Senators, they win 3-1 in Minnesota against the Wild today. We go to Vegas, where my hometown team, Calgary Flames, are playing the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Flames, they lose 3-0 against the Golden Knights. Ilya Samsonov, former Toronto Maple Leafs, he made 31 saves for his first shutout of the season, which means it was his first shutout for the Vegas Golden Knights, as this is his first season as a Golden Knight. The Vegas Golden Knights, they are absolutely red hot right now, winning 6 straight, and they are 10-1-0 in the month of December. There is no hotter team in the NHL right now. Let's just say it as it is. Tanner Pearson, he had a goal and an assist in this game. Brett Howden and Victor Olofsson were the other 2 goal scorers for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights, they are now 25-8-3 on the season. Yeah, like I just said, the best team in hockey right now. Dan Vladar was in net for the Calgary Flames today. They dropped to 17, 12, and 7. They had won 2 straight before this game, and their 5-game point streak ended tonight. They were 3-0-2 in that streak. So those 5 games, very good games, 3-0-2. You got points in those games, but you need to stay like this to even consider yourself a playoff team, and I do not know if they will make the playoffs. I honestly really hope they do. I think it would be a ton of fun to go down to the Red Mile and celebrate with some Flames fans. I just don't think Dan Vladar is the second goalie that the Flames need to get them to that point. I really like Dan Vladar. He seems like a very nice guy, but he just seems to let those goals in at the wrong time when the Flames kind of had the momentum going forward. It was 2-0 until 7 seconds left in the game when Tanner Pearson put the puck in the net. So yeah, technically it was 2-0, but yeah, it's 3-0. You allowed them to score a third goal. So it was closer than what people expected, or when you see 3-0, it was closer than a 3-0 game. The Flames were in it for a long time. They ended up losing 3-0 in Vegas. We head on over to Chicago, where the Chicago Blackhawks are playing the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars end up winning 5-1. Matt Duchene and Jamie Benn were the stars of the Dallas Stars tonight. They had a goal and 2 assists apiece, having a very good night. Jason Robertson, Evgeny Dadonov, and Wyatt Johnson each had a goal and an assist, so it was a very well-rounded, forward-focused win for the Dallas Stars tonight. The Stars, they improved to 21-13-1. Jake Ottinger in net for the Dallas Stars. He made 24 saves. The Dallas Stars, though, they are only 5-4-1 in their last 10 games, a very mediocre last 10 games. They had started their season off very well, but these past 10 games have been very meh for them. Let's hope that this win against a very crappy Chicago Blackhawks team nonetheless, but let's hope that they can take this game and help it catapult the rest of their season. For the Blackhawks, they continue to be absolute garbage. They, as well as the other crappy St. Louis Blues, head to Wrigley Field for the Winter Classic on New Year's Day. Connor Bedard was the only goal scorer for the Chicago Blackhawks today. Arvid Soderblom, he was in net for the Blackhawks, making 28 saves in the losing effort. They are only 12-23-2. Pathetic season from the Blackhawks once again. I can see them winning the lottery this year. And they have also lost 4 in a row, so they are just not going into this very exciting event upcoming in a couple days. They're not coming into this game feeling good about themselves. I just saw a quote a couple minutes ago saying that they're very excited for this outdoor game, but they are treating it like a business trip. Yeah, woohoo. Go win the game, and let's talk about that after. The Blackhawks, they were in the lead after Bedard scored on the power play and just let the game completely get out of hand for them. Tyler Bertuzzi, he was also handed a game misconduct penalty. He made a hit along the boards. I forget who was against who, but he made that last elbow straight to the head of another opponent, and yeah, you just can't do that. You're out of the game. The Blackhawks, they continue to be very disappointing. They lose 5-1 at home against the Dallas Stars. For the last game of the evening, it is in Cali, in Los Angeles, where the Kings win 5-4 over the Philadelphia Flyers. If you have been following me for a bit, the LA Kings were on an extremely long away trip. I think it was around 15 games that they were on the road for. And on that 15-day away trip, I mentioned that they were very mediocre on that trip, obviously because it's such a long time away from your home, away from family. And all they needed to do was get to the Christmas break and get home and play a couple games. Well, I was extremely right when I said that, because they have now won 7 straight at home. 2 straight wins after the Christmas break, after beating the Edmonton Oilers last night, and now they beat the Philadelphia Flyers 5-4 tonight. Their captain, Anze Kopitar, he scored twice in the third period to get them this win. Adrian Kempe, he also had a goal and an assist in the victory. Big save David Riddick, former Toronto Maple Leaf, he made 17 saves for the Kings. They are now 21-10-5. For the Philadelphia Flyers, Matvei Michkov, he scored today after getting benched in yesterday's game. I mentioned yesterday as well that Matvei Michkov, he had an extremely good start to his NHL career and then was dead silent for 7 games. Well, John Tortorella, head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, he decided to sit him for the entire third period yesterday. And obviously the message was received and he went and scored today. He had a goal and an assist in this game. Scott Laughton, he also had a goal and an assist in this game. The Philadelphia Flyers, they dropped to 16-17-4. They were also on the back of a back-to-back after winning 3-1 in Anaheim yesterday. So Anaheim took that loss to Philly yesterday and beat the Edmonton Oilers, but the Philadelphia Flyers couldn't do the same as they come to the back-to-back and end up losing against the LA Kings. Alexei Kolosov, he was in net for the Philadelphia Flyers today, making 15 saves and letting 5 goals in. Not a very good ratio of goals against and saves. Well, the LA Kings, they continue to be absolutely amazing on home ice. They win 5-4 over the Philadelphia Flyers on Sunday night. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit like, hit subscribe if you liked this one. Go on to TikTok, give me a follow there. Instagram, I'm on there as well. And since this is the last recap video before the new year, I just wanted to wish you a very happy new year and a very prosperous 2025. I'll do a quick little video soon into the new year where I'll kind of go over what my plans are for the channel and what I'd like to see as a community. But I'll see you on January 1st. We got the Winter Classic to cover. That's exciting. But nonetheless, thank you so much for ending my year of 2024. Extremely fun. I never expected to have this kind of following already. I know it's not much, but it means the world to me nonetheless. Enough rambling. I hope you have a great night, and have a great New Year's.